chill of the October night settled into my bones as I trudged through the desolate parking lot, my worn-out sneakers crunching dead leaves beneath me. I had made the grave mistake of allowing my curiosity to lead me to the dollar store on the outskirts of town, just beyond the cemetery. It was a place whispered about in hushed tones among the locals, a haven of oddities and obscure items, perfect for those seeking to add a touch of peculiarity to their Halloween celebrations. Upon entering the store, I was greeted by the dim glow of fluorescent lights illuminating cramped aisles lined with shelves overflowing with an assortment of plastic knickknacks and second-rate products. The air was thick with the musty scent of decay, a peculiar blend of mothballs, mildew, and the faint tinge of dried blood emanating from the low-quality Halloween masks. I wandered through the narrow passages, my skin prickling with unease as the cacophony of eerie whispers seemed to follow me, weaving their way through the cluttered store. This peculiar feeling swiftly morphed into palpable dread as I came across an aisle housing an assortment of antique items, a world apart from the cheap trinkets that filled the rest of the store. My eyes landed on a peculiar porcelain carriage, its blue and white glaze cracked and faded with time. Without a second thought, I reached for it, feeling the weight of its significance as I cradled it in my hands. The symbol carved into the side was unfamiliar, yet a strange sense of recognition stirred within me. I had heard legends of dark forces swirling within the very walls of this establishment, and I couldn't help but wonder if this curious artifact was part of that ominous legacy. The shopkeeper, a squat man with dark eyes, eyed me suspiciously from behind his counter. His piercing gaze bore into me as he rang up my purchase, the coins clinking menacingly against the glass surface. As I clutched my bag and stepped out into the cool night air, I couldn't shake the uneasiness that lingered in my chest like a heavy fog. The short walk home became an arduous journey as the weight of the carriage seemed to increase with each step. I marveled at the strange symbols etched into its sides, and thought of the legends that seemed to haunt this store. As I approached my front door, I glanced up at the moon hanging low in the sky, eerily casting a dim blue light across the quiet neighborhood. Once inside, I set the carriage carefully on my kitchen table, its intricate design glowing in the soft light. I couldn't help but feel drawn to it as if it held a secret that only I was meant to uncover. With trembling hands, I tentatively reached out and touched its cold surface, feeling an unexpected surge of energy course through me. Days turned into weeks as I became consumed by the mystery of the porcelain artifact, spending endless hours researching its origins and purpose. The strange symbols began to reveal themselves to me, and I became increasingly aware of the power that lay hidden within its delicate frame. I knew I had stumbled upon something extraordinary, and I couldn't help but feel a twisted sense of pride for having uncovered such a relic. But as the days grew shorter and Halloween approached, I began to notice a change in my behavior. The allure of the carriage had grown to a feverish obsession, filling my thoughts with a dark energy that left me feeling both exhilarated and unsettled. I found myself drawn to the cemetery, compelled to walk its shadowed paths as if searching for answers to questions I didn't fully understand. On the eve of Halloween, I stood in the center of the cemetery, the wind whipping through the ancient tombstones as I felt the piercing gaze of the crescent moon above. I clutched the carriage tightly, feeling the cold porcelain warm beneath my touch. I closed my eyes and whispered an incantation that had once seemed unfathomable to me, its true meaning now as clear as the moonlight. As I opened my eyes once more, the darkness seemed to come alive around me, the shadows taking on a life of their own. The whispers I had heard within the store's walls now echoed through the cemetery, growing louder as I stood frozen in place. And then, without warning, I felt a sudden, searing pain in my chest, as if my very soul was being ripped away. The carriage slipped from my grasp and I collapsed to the ground, the life draining from my body as the darkness swallowed me whole. When I awoke, I found myself lying in the center of the cemetery, the porcelain carriage resting just beyond my reach. The world around me seemed hazy and unreal, as if I was caught between the mortal realm and some other unseen force. As I tried to sit up, I felt a deep, unyielding sense of dread fill me, as if I had unleashed a malevolent force that would never be tamed. I stumbled towards my home in a daze, the realization that I had unleashed a sinister power that could never be undone, settling heavily upon my shoulders. As I reached the safety of my living room, I knew that my fate was sealed. The darkness that clung to me now would never truly leave me. The porcelain carriage would forever haunt my days. The true horror story of the dollar store lies not in the cheap trinkets and obscure items that line its shelves, but in the darkness that lurks just beneath the surface, a darkness that can be unleashed by anyone who dares to unlock its secrets, and the unsuspecting victims who stumble upon its sinister force, forever bound to its twisted grasp.